I'm sorry to say that I will not be performing any magic tricks today, but I do hope to give you some more insights into the field of artificial intelligence. But before we get there, maybe we should first take a step back and think about why we would want or need AI. And the main reason for this is something that we call the data tsunami. It's this huge amount of data that is being generated every single day. And right now, a lot of this data is still being processed manually, or even not at all. Meanwhile, personalized service is the way of the future. But if we're going to do things by hand, we're simply not going to get there. Luckily, we've got technology to help us out here, because artificial intelligence is great for performing repetitive tasks, for analyzing large amounts of data, and for recognizing patterns. And at TechWolf, we are convinced that if we combine human ability with AI, then we get a sum that is larger than the sum of its parts. And this way, if we give the right AI tools to people, we can get them to be more effective, more efficient, but we can still keep a person at the wheel of it all. But how can AI help you? AI helps you to gain a deeper understanding of often complicated data and the trends that are hidden within. In this way, you can see the forest for the trees and focus on what's really important. And often, those are the things that we see as inherently human, such as things requiring judgment, strategy, etc. But if we talk about artificial intelligence, it's often not really sure for a lot of people what this intelligence means, because AI is often represented as this very human thing. And to some extent, I would say that AI is, in fact, often inspired by humans. And I would like to show you with an example of how our own system learns to understand what concepts mean. But first, I would like you to raise your hand if you don't know this word, scrumpy. So if it doesn't sound familiar to you, and I'm seeing a lot of hands here, but that's great, because I will be giving you 3 examples of how this word is used. And we will see if it makes any difference. So the first one, it was authentic scrumpy, rather sharp and very strong. Then the second one, these apples produce the best scrumpy in the whole region. And then finally, he spent all night at the pub drinking scrumpy. Okay, let's try it again. Please raise your hand if you do know what scrumpy means. Okay, that's looking a lot better right now. And what happened is that you learned from the context. So you weren't just given the information directly, but you found a way to extract it from these sentences. And actually, computers can learn from documents in the same way. With the difference being that while you only needed 3 examples, a computer might need 100. And of course, there are a couple of other differences as well. With the main one being that whereas we excel at creativity, computers, or at least today's AI, simply does not think outside of the box. But that doesn't mean that AI cannot be useful, even today. For example, if I open up Netflix, it shows me this wide range of cheesy action movies because it knows that I have watched every single Jackie Chan movie they have. And maybe a bit more exciting, we should see self-driving cars make the commute to Brussels a lot more pleasant in the future. Looking at the Energy 3.0 project, we want to apply this intelligence to assess the skill gap and see how it is evolving. And this information will then be used to create an overview for every single individual to show where they are in the industry, where the industry is headed, and what the opportunities are for them to keep up and to grow. But before we can get there, of course, there are a couple of challenges. And as Lisanne mentioned, data is probably the biggest of them. For example, we work with education data, but some providers list the minimum requirements for a course, whereas others just mention if it's a beginner course or an expert course, and some simply fail to mention anything at all. But if you build a system that is optimized for either one of these, it will simply not work as well for any of the others. And this way, this diversity in different data standards is actually a major roadblock towards innovation. And if we can get rid of that by standardizing the way some data is saved across the industry,
we can move much faster, and the cost will be reduced greatly as well. Another specific need for us is that we really want people to embrace these new tools and learn how to get the most of them so that we can get the synergy between humans and AI. Those are the two main needs for us as a technology provider. But now I would like to give the floor back to Lisanne to talk a bit more about the industry point of view.